and welcome to Monorant's Gen V, the only Gen V and the Boys podcast that's delighted that more than half of our listeners are girls.
What now?
More than half of our listeners are girls now,
Ooh,
Kira.
excellent.
That's right, dudes can get their cocks exploded. This podcast is for the ladies. I'm one of your hosts, an apparent traitor to my own gender, Mono, and with me is my co-host and better half in everything we do, Kira.
Turning against your own kind now.
Homelander would not approve. But it is season wrap time, and we have drafted in some help.
Yes, because this is way too big for us to just bitch about on our own.
Yes, so hopefully these girls will help us get it done. So welcome on, Butcher Lover Extraordinaire and veteran of Monorant's Rap Chats, Anna/ButchersCanary.
Hello.
And we also have with us our only ever two-time guest, now scoring the hat-trick. It's Elsie/TheGreenCooler.
Hi, guys.
Welcome on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you both for joining us. As I just said, we passed a little bit of a milestone for ourselves there recently, and we now have way more than half of our listeners are female.
Which I'm delighted about because there is a nice safe spot in the fandom.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hard to find, but we're here.
Yeah, no, we don't tolerate any of that sort of bullshit.
No.
And we thought, why not bring on two of our favourite previous guests, who also happen to be women. Nothing to do with why we're bringing you on, because honestly, both times we've had you both on, you've just been so incredibly insightful, so I can't wait to hear what you've got to say about Gen V.
I am still processing that incredible intro with dudes can get their dicks exploded. This is for the girls. That's my new life motto going forward.
Yeah, boys are stupid. Throw rocks at them.
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree. Like, I
do miss those old T-shirts that you used to be able to get that said that.
I remember pencil cases of that.
Yeah.
And I mostly agreed back then, and I even more agree now. And as we were just talking about before we hit the record, all you have to do is look at the Facebook boys pages, and you'll see what we're talking about. But as to Gen V itself, anybody who's listened to our previous episodes know we have loved it at large. But what did you guys think?
I really loved it. Like, I was blown away, for lack of better wording, with the choice, like just the narrative choices they went with, how it was so interlinked with the world of the boys, but completely added to it and stood in its own right as well. So yeah, solid addition, completely justified. Big fan.
Yeah, no, I mean, we really, really enjoyed it. We had one or two small issues, but like overall, it was something that we just couldn't wait to get into and can't wait to get more of. What about yourself then, Elsie?
Oh my goodness. The quality of the writing with having that large an ensemble and what they were able to give to every single person was just, they really raised the bar for themselves, especially for, a sequel that can be hit or miss. And especially with a show that you're planning on interweaving with the bigger show, to want every single character to have a future, or almost every single character to have a future going forward, and seeing whose side they would be on, or, how they might change later. I was really impressed by the whole thing.
And I was going to chat about it probably a little bit later on, but you touched on it there, so I may as well bring it up, is what do we all think about how they did tie in the show to the main show of the boys? Like,
I have one main quibble about it, which was use of music refrains.
Yeah.
The deflating, chorus, the wah. On the rewatch, I noticed it a bit as we were watching the episodes, but when we did the full rewatch, it is used way too much, and it actually started to annoy me because I would have liked some original little stings to go with the characters and not a reuse of the same.
I meant more narrative thing.
Yeah.
But...
I just want to throw that out there. That bothered me, and I don't know if anyone else caught it.
I did when you brought it up, and it's one of my, it was, I think we talked about it last year when we had Anna on, is that swelling and then deflating kind of superhero sting was one of the things that I loved about the show early on. And they do use it throughout, but in this, I think you're right, they used it a lot. But no, for me, just kind of narratively, the way they tied the shows together, it was a lot closer than I was expecting, especially as the events of the season wore on and we started to see, well, especially kind of the last two episodes when we got like Vic and Grace and Homelander and Butcher at the very end, that it tied way closer than I was initially expecting. What about yourselves?
I was impressed with how sort of self-contained it was until the very end. We only got Ashley, we got certain characters, and then to leave it at the end with Homelander and how that turned out. So I think it's really going to be interesting how everything pans out with the virus, because immediately what I was thinking of was You have Newman going off, and she injected her kid now. So she made her kid a soup. So she's not going to want that getting to anybody. But can she store that safely? You have how viruses change over time, and we have both Butcher and Huey got the temp V. So who knows if there's a trace of that left in the system where that could transfer to regular humans if the virus got out.
Part of the temp V aspect of it, actually.
I just assume once it was in your bloodstream, it would behave the same way that the V in the wild does in the graphic novels, where it just shows up randomly through mutation.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I'll see.
And then you have the whole thing where Homelander is now 10 times more dangerous because he has a telepath on his side. And granted, neither Kate nor Sam kind of want to be controlled. But imagine Ashley trying to keep Maeve safe in secret, the fact that she's alive. And now Kate can just stand in front of Ashley and hear Ashley thinking about Maeve.
Ooh.
You know, like there's so much more at risk now.
But do her telepathy power or her mind reading powers, I don't know if you watch True Blood, do they work like Suckies where the person has to be thinking of the thing at the same time, or can she like rifle through memories?
Well, I mean, we don't exactly know just because she was clouded the whole time, right?
Oh yeah,
She was on the pills for the most of the show. So, I mean, you could get, you know, the fact that somebody might need to think of it, in which case if Ashley is nervous because she finds out, oh, there's a telepath here, don't think about pink elephants. Oh shit, I'm thinking about pink elephants. You know, so there's a huge risk there. I'm sad for those two kids, but because I completely understand why they are making the choices they're making. And to know they're ending up in the direct lap of somebody whose only goal is going to be to control them, even possibly worse than they already were being controlled. Like, I hope they wake up a little bit. Like, I hope they find out a way to get themselves out of it, because, like, Sam, man, like, that kid's a naif. Like, he didn't stand a chance.
Oh, we'll get on to Sam.
You dislike Sam. I am big team Sam.
Nope,
I'm the same. My heart breaks for him.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. He had his chance.
Anna, what do you think of Sam?
I love the fact that you guys are having a domestic over Sam. I love that that's going to be a cause of marital problems. I think Sam's a really interesting character. I think he is comparable to Homelander in a sense, because they both have that similar background of, you know, raised in a lab. And I think with Sam, I think the brother element is also really important, because the absence of Luke and also the betrayal he felt with Luke's passing as well is a pretty big catalyst for like an emotional breakdown, which I think we see in that final episode. I definitely don't think you're seeing someone in control of their emotions act, because, you know, everyone else, you know, Andre included, sees Kate's wrongdoing at that point, whereas Sam is indoctrinated by it and sort of encouraged to lean in to not very good actions.
I mean, I think the thing with Sam is, like, of course, we all want to protect Emma. So we're all like, God damn it, Sam, you hurt our baby. So we're all very angry at Sam for that. But he went from being set free to finally being like, oh, look, I can have fun. I can have a social group. I can feel accepted. Now my social group is telling me that they're trying to limit us and take away our powers. And that actually happened to him. So, like, he has a reason to, no reason to question that. I mean, they put him in a collar and put him in a cage. So, to him, that's a reasonable assessment. I'm not saying I agree with the fascism speed run he did, but...
No, but he is perfectly primed, and herd mentality is a very strong thing. And he's been isolated his whole life and then been introduced to a group of his peers that relate to him. He's not going to go against the grain for fear of being shunned by them.
Well, and I think what we saw of him there, whatever about how Kate kind of deals with Homelander, I think he might be that bit more willing, because Homelander is the one who has been fueling that mindset on campus that he's kind of come under the influence of now anyway. So I think he might be an easier sway for Homelander to control, because he can probably control him less with force and more with, like,
Coercion?
Not even coercion, but, like, especially,
Honesty.
and as was just brought up, Homelander and Sam do have that similar background. So they could end up, like, being quite close, which is scary.
It could, but they could also, I mean, there's also the fact that you have Homelander has very little patience for people. And you have a kid who, I mean, I don't know if we know his diagnosis was schizophrenic, but like he was having like visual hallucinations consistently. And we don't know if that was during his teens and 20s, that would have been the diagnosis anyway, or if the V caused that. But I mean, I don't know that Homelander is the person that would have a lot of patience for somebody who is losing his mind in front of him.
We know he for certain has no compassion because, oh, your life is so difficult. And his patience is limited when it comes to Ryan, who is his own flesh and blood. So we've seen him annihilate people just for being in his way. So I think Sam would have to walk a very, very careful line in terms of Homelander.
Yeah.
Not, squishing him.
Yeah. But maybe moving away from Sam in specifics and back to the show in general, was there anything that just like highlights of the season?
Oh man. Can I just say Emma full stop, or do I have to like elaborate on that point?
I said that in the group chat. We can't all just say Emma for our favorite bits, for our favorite characters. We'll have to have some variety.
Just Lizzie Broadway, full stop, capital letters. Highlights. I honestly think my favorite cameo of the season was Grace Mallory. It was the one I least expected. And as soon as I heard Layla Robbins' voice, I was just like, oh my God. And I got incredibly excited.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah, I think for me, it was those, whilst seeing Homelander and Butcher was incredible, for me, it was people like Bork, Mallory, Ashley, Cameron Coleman. That's what grounded me in the world of the boys. Those are where I was like, I completely believe that this is a part of the same universe. It was those smaller details that made me feel really content with it, opposed to the sort of as fun as those big moments were. Yeah, I think the attention to detail was incredible, with even from set design. So many times I was pausing and going, oh my God, it's like they've got the Brave Maeve poster, the Brave Maeve, the signed Funko Pop. Whoever thought of that is a genius, because I cackled. I just thought that was such a meta, nudge nudge wink wink joke.
Elsie, what were the highlights for you?
Mallory was definitely, like, Grace is my girl. I love her, and I was on the edge of my seat because I was like, oh, please don't let her be a war criminal. Please don't let her be a war criminal. And then she wasn't a war criminal, so I was really happy about that.
That was one of my favorite bits of just shouting at the screen when Grace is like, that's a war crime, and Shetty's response is, but we're at war. It's like, that's not how it works. Yeah, no, sorry. Grace was brilliant. Sorry, didn't mean to cut across you there.
No, it's the absolute truth.
Just quickly jumping off of Elsie's point, I also think Dean Shetty was an incredible character, and linking her to the flight was such a brilliant motivation to choose that as her origin and her drive throughout the season. I think it tied together the whole world brilliantly.
Yes, and what I loved about Dean Shetty, they did the video of behind the scenes of her office, and what they ended up showing was in Dean Shetty's office, they have stained glass windows of different members of the Seven. And so Dean Shetty had to stare across from her desk and see the person who killed her family day after day and try not to break that window.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine the rage?
Mm-hmm.
Because the other time see the whole stained glass is in Kate's dreamscape when they all shatter.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's Phil Segrisha does a walkthrough of the office and is like, I spent all night making these stained glass windows.
Oh well, we've long said on this podcast that man is a hero when it comes to this show.
But yeah, no, the idea that they've put in these things that would just intentionally irritate her or drive the character that little bit more.
Yeah, because she is, when you get her full motivation, not her background, but like what she wants to do, and you're like, oh, that is a bit severe. But then, yeah, when you start to look back at it and you can see these things, like I didn't even know that about the stained glass window. That's great. Yeah, it adds more depth to the characters. I think for myself, one of my favorite things of the season was probably Tech Night. I waited so long for Tech Night.
Eric fucking Wilson. He knocked it out of the park. That you could have
Oh my God,
so
yeah.
easily overplayed that role. So easily you could have made it cringy and not cringy in the way they want you to cringe, right? It just brilliant. Just so good.
Oh, I said it in
The
the
subtlety of the hand gestures is what really sold it. Plus that very long, loving look at that tree at the end.
no,
and we're
the
like,
sellotape, the
no,
bit with the roll
Yeah.
of sellotape just
that was
gets me every
fantastic.
time.
Snaps for that.
And like, I didn't even mind that they changed what his deal was. You know,
No.
he's not the Batman
It
Iron
made
Man
him
thing.
more repulsive as a character.
Yeah, no, to make him this like phony investigative journalist was just everything about it. It's no notes. It was just perfect. Like absolutely loved Tech Night.
What I actually liked about him wasn't like the comedy was great. Like he played all those bits wonderfully, but linking it back to just conversations people have about Batman and the extrajudicial use of force and that kind of thing. The moments where he threatened people, where take that glove off and you'll lose your hand, to Kate, like
That one
those,
in particular.
Yeah.
like those little moments, it was like, oh, you're that guy. Those were the moments that sold it for me with him.
And I think when you say that as well, it reminds me of it reminds me of Butcher a little bit, because I think he disarms people with that charm and that humor, but he's threatening you the whole time. And I loved that with Tech Night. I think the interrogation scene when he's going through all of the students was just such a great, really well edited, and B, great performance from everyone involved, but especially him carrying that whole scene.
Oh, particularly at the end when all the students are coming up to him and it's like, oh, it's such an honor. Oh, isn't it though?
That's just...
What about you then, Kira? You're the last one to tell us
What, my
the
highlight?
highlights of the season.
Sloane.
Sloane.
Sloane. I'm obsessed with Sloane. How she works, why she works, what is she? I've been saying this since I saw Jamie. First of all, I just want to see Jamie in the background every
Yeah.
now and again. And the idea that there's either a shape-shifting soup that turns into a freaking animal, like an animorph,
No, I still want Sloane
or
to just
that
be
Sloane
a
is just
sentient soup-powered llama.
And you said you came across some weird fan theory that it was a group of sentient llamas that already got V, and I was like, that raises more questions.
No,
than
it was
answers.
that all llamas are sentient in the boys' universe. And Sloane is the
raises
first one
so
to
many
get V,
questions.
and it's such a common thing that nobody ever talks about. All llamas are sentient, but I'd just be happy with this one llama being sentient.
I just love the fact that they threw that in there. Never gave an explanation for it. It was just
That's Sloane.
accepted.
Everybody else accepts it.
Sloane. That I enjoyed, and that fact that we got a glimpse at different types of soups, like the siren and these ones that are kind of disgusting.
You had to bring up the dolphin girl. Oh, I forgot
because
about
the
her.
siren is like one of the weirdest things I have ever seen in my life, and I just thought it was really, really cool.
That actually, no, that brings up a good point. Let's go around the room and talk about our favorite, like, random background superpower. So, is yours Dolphin Girl?
No, I just thought that as a concept of somebody who obviously enjoys their mythology went, what if soups could have like mythological powers? And the blowhole in the back, and I think the gum shield to stop the teeth because sirens were cannibals.
Yeah, you're really going in on the siren thing, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I just thought it was really cool because I love mythology, and that made that part of my brain very, very happy.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna say the Incredible Steve was my favorite background superhero with the arms and the reattaching arms. Anna, favorite background group?
I've got to go with my boy Maverick. I've got to go with Translucent Sun. I thought that was such a good tie-in, and his the lines about going into the girls' and the guys' bathrooms as if that was like a really good thing he was doing.
Like, you are definitely Translucent's kid going into the bathroom.
Yeah. And that was
yeah.
No paternity test needed. That is his son. That is, and I loved that, and I also loved Marie getting a good whack. That was that was enjoyable for sure.
And Elsie, favorite background soup?
Oh my goodness, I honestly don't know. How many of them do you think have laser eyes at this point? Because it seems like there's like a 10% chance of spinning the wheel and getting that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because we had Laser Baby. There was Laser Meth Head Girl, because they were calling them meth heads. The ones that
Yeah.
there was one of them definitely had lasers. And then did another one have lasers?
Somebody in the town hall had lasers because then they used laser eyes to cut the flag above her head.
Because the one running around from the woods had blue laser eyes like the baby, and the one in the town hall had red laser eyes.
No, I think that's the other way around. But there's a whole bunch of laser eyes floating around.
I sort of think, like, who was it? The girl with chain lightning. Because I'm always a fan of chain lightning and D&D, so I'll go with that.
Oh yeah, we only got to see her for a split second before that dickhead Jeff killed her, didn't we?
Social media Jeff, what an icon.
What an unfortunate haircut.
Oh, Elsie, did we skip over your favorite overall character as opposed to
think
background
that's it.
character? My bad.
No, it's okay. I mean, obviously, everyone's gonna say Emma, but I think Jordan, I really loved. Like, I didn't start there. It took me a little bit to warm up to them.
I love
Yeah.
But like, once we got into where they were mentally, I really warmed up to them. And then Marie Moreau, my goodness, I want to do a deep dive on her powers. Like, I want to know what else, because if she can take a shot from Homelander, to have someone that strong on the good guy side is huge.
Yeah, because we were saying it's the heart-stopping thing for me.
Yeah,
he stopped
she's the
that
heart.
girl's heart like that.
She's definitely stronger than Newman.
Yeah.
That's what we think.
Yeah, because she could stop a heart without exploding a head.
Yeah, and when Newman explodes your head, you get a little like warning because you get the nosebleed first.
And
That girl
does.
just died.
Just pops, yeah. And the same then with Kate's arm, and it's so quick and it's so instinctive.
Just on Jordan, I think, I was much the same. It took me a little while to warm Jordan. I think it was the gala episode where I was like,
Yeah.
where Jordan's getting it on with the phasing guy.
Oh yeah, when she's
And
totally
when-
having none of that. See, I had to kind of go, do I like Jordan the character, or am I just attracted to Jordan the actors? Because both of them make me feel a certain way, and I'm perfectly fine with that because that's the whole point of it. But yeah, I was like, do I like you or do I like you? Like, and yeah, no, I actually love the character themselves.
Yeah, no, Jordan, it was such a good character. I think I said it as well. Jordan and Emma were probably my two favorite characters of the season.
Oh, I cheered. There was cheering going on when they got together.
Oh well, and they finally released the Jordan Marie cut there on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Hey.
But for the sake of balance, were there things that we didn't like about the season? I know I've made it fairly known throughout the season that it was any small things I had could be solved by the one big thing I had, which was I felt the episodes were too short.
Ooh, that's a controversial point.
Is it?
I saw a lot of that on Twitter. I saw a lot of the episodes are very short. For me, I'm going to take this opportunity to come out as a short episode defender. I am. I totally understand why, like, I think when people talk about why they felt they were too short, I can see that. But for me, one of the biggest things I hate in any media, television, films, whatever, is when it's dragged out. I feel it. I feel filler scenes. I feel filler episodes. And when they were shorter, even if I was like, I would have loved more, I was like, at least they weren't putting in scenes for the sake of putting in scenes. At least it was like to the point, to their plot. And it was, when you read books, chapters vary in lengths, right? So with TV shows, should it really be any difference? Should you have to hit the 60-minute mark every time? That being said, completely get why people wanted more.
Yeah, I didn't notice it so much in the earlier episodes. I think it was more towards the end of the season.
They did
That was
start
where I
off-
wanted.
Episode 1 and 2 were almost an hour, and then they
They did get shorter,
progressively
but
shorter.
even say episode 4, which was the Tech Night one, that was one of the shorter ones. That felt like a really tight episode. I think it was just, for me, episode 7 and 8 could have used a little bit more time, or even maybe have an episode 9 of the same length and spread out that plot across the 3 episodes. And I think we may have said something similar in season 3's wrap of, and
Could have done with maybe an extra episode somewhere in there to allow for the audience to catch up and get on the same page as everybody, because the information is thrown in quite quickly, and with multiple storylines going on, you can kind of lose track of who's where and who's doing what.
Yeah, I think I always, in every wrap, I always say I want more, but I just felt it that bit more acutely this season. What about yourself, Elsie? Was there anything you didn't like?
Towards the middle of the season, like, Andre sort of lost me a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it came back around in the finale, where I was like, okay, I'm more on in the middle of the season, like he came off a little whiny to me.
Yeah.
So I was sort of like, okay. If we have to lose somebody, I'm okay with losing you.
Sports favorite nepotism, baby.
I just like how everybody's tapped for the 7 is cursed.
I love how it became a fucking free-for-all in the finale when they were all calling up every person they were considering. And they were like, we don't give a shit. Save us and we'll put you in. Like, it's...
I have to admire Ashley's strategy in that. Like,
Oh yeah. Whoever stops, whoever saves us.
yeah, you get to get in. Like, we've got a whole load of empty seats. You'll be fine.
Anna, you're not off the hook. What about you? Anything you didn't like?
I suppose my only real grumble, it is actually about Emma.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Hear me out. It's for the first 3 episodes. I think she's such an individual. She's so well developed. We learn about her and her background, her relationship with her mum, what she wants out of Goju, what she wants out of Marie, which is friendship, and like the bathroom scene is one of my favorite scenes.
Oh, he cried.
Yeah.
He full on.
It's such a real, simple portrayal of female friendship for me. It just hit me. I was like, I've been in situations like that with my friends. So my only thing with Emma is that those first 3 episodes I think are so strong. And then when she meets Sam, her character very much becomes about looking after him, which is completely makes it, again, with these criticisms, there's an answer for it in the plot, which I completely accept. But I would have loved to have seen more of Emma post meeting Sam, standing on her own 2 feet and interacting with the rest of the Goju gang, which we did get in the last few episodes. But for me, I loved her as an individual, not as a ship, as a couple.
Yeah.
And I felt like we wandered a little bit when she met Sam. Like she became very isolated from the rest of the characters and thus like the plot itself.
Yeah, and we did, when we were recording, we did kind of keep separating what Sam and Emma were doing from what everybody else was doing. But they kind of bring it back in a little bit when Emma gets she breaks the top 100.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, there's a little talk about what Emma wants and her goals, and then that falls by the wayside. And I think that was one of the things that you didn't like as well. You wanted more of was the university side, Kira, wasn't it?
I felt like the actual location itself was ignored and forgotten.
After the first couple of episodes.
Yeah, that you lost focus on it being a university setting. These are all kids out on their own for the first time. They're all doing stupid shit. You've also got, social events going on. Like, we never got anything more in the stadium where, like, in the first episode where we see people, working out and Mr. Thingy.
Oh, the Incredible Steve.
Gets his arms ripped off.
Yeah.
Because I'm 100% positive there.
I could have gone back for another fight, yeah.
No, I'm positive there was a swimming pool in that place, and that would have been Emma's next port of call to go and like perv on the swim team guys. I'd like to have seen more of kind of that aspect of university life going on and them trying to fake it whilst the drama is happening in the background.
They would have definitely failed any exams that they had that semester. I did not see those motherfuckers study once. Sure, they were doing superhero shit, but like, crack open the Brink textbooks. What are you doing? Like,
I did love seeing the Burke directing and acting classes, though.
I would have also enjoyed some sort of big theatrical production with the supes utilizing their powers, like doing like fucking Cinderella and having a flying one like come in as the godmother and something. That I felt was missing the actual university
society.
I mean, you also have to examine, like, these are kids not just who are out on their own for the first time and leaving the house and not under their parents' watchful eye anymore. These are also, there's a decent percentage of these kids who are going to be very angry at their parents. Like, yeah, they got into God U, but you're finding out you might have been, this show really showcases how many people who were given Compound V get damaged by it in some way. Like, with Emma, like, obviously we're thinking probably that her emotions are more tied to her getting big and small at this point, but, it was tied to an eating disorder for her. You have Marie who, was harming herself. You have all these other kids who, how did they, like, their powers manifest? Or the things that might have been psychologically triggered in them. So I think have that group of kids at university and being able to go off and do whatever they want and push buttons. And then you have the match to the gasoline, which is a culture of little homelanderettes who are all forming little groups and saying, "Oh, we're the superior race." You know, especially if you're angry at your parents and you're angry at human beings for putting you in that situation, then oh yeah, I am superior than you, mom and dad. I am gonna take it out on you.
Yeah.
Rufus I found to be a very interesting character. I think he's a great example of what's going on at the moment with radicalization and indoctrination with young people. Rufus and his influence over a very impressionable Sam, I think, was very interesting.
Especially when Rufus then is the first one to see the kind of extreme lengths of his viewpoint. In the next episode, when your man comes outside and asks him, is he a soup? And he's like, yeah. And then he finds the first non-soup and melts her face. And Rufus looks terrified.
Yeah.
We were saying that the boys is very much about post-traumatic stress disorder. Gen V is about the foundation of that.
Oh, that is good. That's a fucking soundbite. I like that.
Because it is like we're witnessing these kids living and experiencing all this trauma. Like we've got Marie and a self-harming issue that is linked to her. It is linked to her powers, but there's differences. And as somebody who has self-harmed in the past, like you can spot when she's doing it for the emotional relief as opposed to utilizing her powers. You see that with Emma as well. She abuses, you know, she is borderline bulimic, and like she uses that as an outlet for shame after everything that happens with that fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Captain Floppy Dick.
Yeah. But you
Emma, or not Emma, Kate, she's on a whole lot of medication. She's got all that abuse. Like it is essentially drug abuse because she's so medicated.
But further to that, and kind of along the lines of what you were talking about there, Elsie, it does seem like we're seeing in this season as well the wider effects of the girls there.
Polarity.
Well, the girls there in terms of their mental effects, but also, yeah, what's happening to Polarity and Andre. We don't know if Sam's mental problems are in any way linked to V, but we're certainly seeing much more negative effects related to V as opposed to, say, like with Mindstorm, where it was his powers kind of made him go crazy because he could hear everybody. This is like the V, and using their powers is directly hurting Andre and his dad. So it seems like they are trying to set that up, that yeah, V does fuck people up as well.
Do we know what happened to Luke and Sam's parents? Because presumably they agreed to inject their kids with this, and then Luke gets set up as this, you know, the golden child who can do promising things. They have another kid who ends up in specialized mental institutions and then is disappeared. And their other son is told he's dead. And I don't know, did Luke call home and say, oh, my brother's dead? Did Vought dispense with their parents?
Well, presumably, if the parents are alive, they got a visit from that handy dandy lawyer with a big fat check. And if that's the lie that they disseminated, that he's dead, presumably that's what they would have told him, that maybe he died under whilst in psychiatric care. It's I would
hazard a guess that they used the same tactic that they did on Luke himself, which was Kate.
Yeah.
Because Kate, when Cameron Coleman is disparaging the parents, being like, they won't talk to the press, what are they trying to hide? Kate says to Andre, I don't know why they're saying that. Do you not remember when we met Luke's parents and they were awesome? Yeah. So she's met them before, so she probably just went, oh, I'm so sorry, your son is dead.
And now they had one son die, and Vought News lambasted him as this evil person, and now they're also putting Sam on the news as a new hero to be followed.
Yeah, they've resurrected him if they've been spreading the he's dead rumor.
Well, yeah, I suppose it depends on how wide of a knowledge it is that Golden Boy's brother died, and now all of a sudden here is Golden Boy's brother having saved everybody on campus.
Well, said that he's Golden Boy's brother. It's just that the surname.
Well, the surname is the same. Yeah, that's a good point.
Don't think that's a very common surname in the States.
No, we discussed that a little bit during. So Cameron Coleman did a fantastic job. And it was so good to see him this season. You touched on that earlier on at the smaller side characters. I think it was the right choice to bring the smaller ones in first before bringing in like your Grace and your Vic at the end. That we got to see Ashley and Cameron and Courtney Fortney.
Yeah, I was going to say Courtney Fortney being annoying. And also Ashley, which is nice to know she hasn't been fired yet.
Yes, that's right. We got also Ashley at the very end.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I loved...
Panicking.
I loved seeing all those small side characters, and it did. You said it, and it really helped tie the show in to the greater universe of The Boys. But something that I don't have much experience with, and you have more with, Kira, is the whole teen drama side of it. Did it fit that teen drama thing for? I don't know. Do you guys watch much in the way of teen dramas?
I don't watch a lot of teen dramas, but like it felt a little older than your standard teen drama to me.
Yeah, it was more kind of fell into like young adults, they're into college, a little bit more, as opposed to 16-year-olds running around.
Yeah,
there's a wide range. the old like young adult audience.
Yeah, as a middle-aged dude watching it, the only time that I was in any way kind of, for me, that it felt like properly different from The Boys was when
Marie and Jordan kissed.
And I was like, oh yeah. All the romances have to happen because teen drama. But that was the only moment for me. What about yourself, Anna?
I mean, I was about to say, I don't watch many teen dramas, but I am sort of the age range of the characters. And one of the things I really liked about it is I saw a lot of the banter between my friends and I in the characters. Yeah, the romance was a big side of it. That didn't bug me too much. It's nice to see some happy relationships in the context of a very nasty world for once. And I think they did a really good job of nodding to the culture for young people at the moment with social media and what troubles us with, regarding body image and mental health issues, without ever making it to hello fellow kids, without ever making it seem like they were trying too hard. Or it was one of my big criticisms of a lot of teen shows is that it feels like it's written by adults. And one thing about Gen V is I felt like it was written by people of my age or people who really understood people my age.
It didn't dip into the after school special kind of range.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why Social Media Jeff worked so well, because he was that.
Yeah, very. Oh,
So
some of the
good.
lines that came out, like, when that you hate to love them, but I just found him hilarious for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It just brilliant.
When he was describing the Vaught personal massager and you were like, stop. Just stop talking. Just eat your face.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be used as a massager. Just, oh, god damn it, no. Yeah, he was just so beautifully cringe. Are there any other highlights that we haven't covered that either of you guys would like to bring up?
Only things that annoyed you.
Well, yeah, anything really.
I don't think there was anything that like annoyed me too badly. Like I was happy to be right about my distrust of Kate. I will say that. Anybody who walks out with those set of powers on a show that is like, I have ways to control people, and your one of your first lines is consent is important to me. I'm like, that's a red flag. I don't trust you. So I was right about that. But they gave me a good reason to bring her back around. I don't know that I thought everything was so written with such nuance that it didn't annoy me because nothing felt too heavy-handed. Like I would have been annoyed if like the scene with Shetty telling Kate, "Oh, I love you." And the fact that Kate was like, no, you're really being honest to me, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like things like that, where it's like, because it's true for her. Like it could absolutely be true that, she loves her and she sees her as a surrogate daughter and she might protect her in the future. But if you're giving orders for her to murder people, then you're still not protecting her very well.
I think also the fact that Shetty did actually care for Kate just added a whole layer to that relationship, that it wasn't completely fictitious. It was, she did actually care. And it reminded me of Butcher and Ryan a little bit, because he's so anti-soup in the way that Kate becomes so anti-human. But unlike Butcher, she doesn't pick and choose the people who get a pass. She commits to the bit and hates everyone and sees them all as one body rather than individual people.
That connection there, actually, that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about the season, was that there were nice parallels between the characters, like you'd mentioned there. I also thought that kind of, I think we talked about it a bit in the last episode, of how Kate pushes Andre away and Sam pushes Emma away in much the same way that Butcher had pushed Ryan away. And there were other parallels throughout the season that I was just like, it's just those more kind of meta ways of tying the shows together, that these characters have these parallels. And it's just, yeah, one of you mentioned the nuance of the writing there, and there was very little that I found lacking in the writing or in the characters, their motivations. I think Andre was the only one we were a little bit down on.
On second rewatch with Andre, his overwhelming emotion is anger. And that's what's driving him. He's angry, he's disappointed. It's this kind of rage inside him and confusion over everything that happened with Golden Boy. And then you've got Kate messing with that.
Yeah.
And the development of that relationship and what seems to be a genuine love from his end. But as things are revealed to him, that love is still clouded in this ball of anger and rage and mistrust. And that's kind of his prevailing emotion. And it's hard to sympathize with somebody who's only showing you one thing. I think when everything starts to happen with his dad and you see his breakdown, that's kind of where Andre gets you again.
In the last episode, I definitely was more brought back, and I think you said that there earlier, Elsie, that was more, we got a bit more from Andre in the last episode, and I am looking forward to getting more time with him. Well, with all the characters, but with him in particular of season 2.
Sorry, of when he's talking to Emma outside the gala. That is my favorite.
That was
Andre
great.
moment.
Actually, yes, that's a brilliant Andre moment where he realizes what a bad idea it is.
This to you, and she's like, "What?"
That was a great episode. Was season 3, episode 3 was a great episode. Certainly for the characters. I think for me, episode 4 is probably going to be my favorite because of Tech Night.
I've got to just quickly jump on the Andre discussion here, because I think Andre is a really interesting example of the trauma response where you freeze in your emotions, because all the other characters experience the same events as him and they have a reactive response. They want to do something, they want to right a wrong, or they want to wrong a right. They are ready to go. They have an energy. Whereas I think Andre witnesses the death of his best friend and then has the other events of the season happen to him, and only really processes them when it becomes pretty much life or death, when he finds out about his father's illness and what will be passed down to him if he continues to use his powers. So I think he's an interesting comparison point in terms of, you look at Marie and she's been very traumatized, and her response to it is to change her circumstance as much as she can. And I think Andre's reaction links to perhaps his background of privilege and security as far as he's aware in Vought and his future, and he can't process it.
I think he also was sort of frozen in guilt that we weren't aware of until much later, when that was revealed to us that he was cheating with Kate before Luke died. And so he was sitting on that, oh my God, I did that to my best friend, and that was probably really weighing on him in a way that nobody else could have realized besides Kate.
Yep.
And then the addition of, should he feel relief that Golden Boy has died without knowing, without that ever being found out, and she gotten away with it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, or he hasn't had to, his friend has died, so he hasn't had to hurt his friend's feelings. And even Kate kind of accuses him of that at the end of episode 8 when they have their face off. She says that that's his thing of not doing anything and feeling like he's done something.
Yeah.
Which speaks to that, what you were saying, Anna, of him being kind of trapped in the same state. But yeah, I didn't hate Andre. I didn't hate any of the characters, to be honest with you. Social media Jeff, but he deserved to be. And that was hated for the right reasons. But yeah, no, it was such a fun season to watch. I have to say, I wasn't expecting them to tie it in as tightly as they did. So where I was expecting to be ooh, I can't wait for season 2 of Gen V, now it's going to be, I'm expecting season 4 of The Boys to pick up some of the plot threads, but not all of them. But we talked a little bit about we think the virus and the Homelanders actions in the very end are going to be the two big important things that lead into season 4 of The
Well,
Boys.
season 4 is going to be the election. Probably. It's going to be because they've been running up to it. You've got Newman doing town halls in this, running up, and she's talking about, going out, registering to vote, all of that jazz. So there's going to be a big furore around that, and VOD are going to be keeping an eye on that too.
But I suppose what I'm trying to say is where all my thoughts about where it's going to go are more to do with season 4 of The Boys. I don't know what to expect from season 2 of Gen V.
No, it's probably going to depend very much on
what happens in season 4 of The Boys. So yeah, where I was kind of willing to make some predictions before, like last season.
Clue.
I have no clue where they're going to go with it. I have some ideas about overarching plot, and I think we said this in season 3 wrap that we thought maybe it'd be a 5-season run, and season 4 would be dealing with Homelander, and season 5 might be Butcher as the bad guy, but I don't even know anymore. About you, Elsie, have you any like predictions or hopes really for the future?
We've talked about how we don't really know Marie's power set, right? And I keep thinking she senses things in the blood, and she used her powers at some point to assist people, to keep people alive, or I'm wondering if she might find out at some point that she actually has healing capacity. Besides just dealing with the blood itself, but actually has healing capacity. Because we haven't had any healers.
Yeah, just Kimiko as a self-healer, really.
Yep.
We haven't had
We haven't had anyone who can affect anybody else's healing or blood production or anything like that.
And yeah, we saw her in the first episode take some of that blood back into an open wound, and we saw her speed up Kate's heartbeat, but yeah, those are both directly related. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I'm more interested in kind of her power level, because as we said, we both think that she's more...
I think she's way more powerful than she realizes.
And probably more powerful than Vic.
It just depends on what she can do, because I was
Oh, you wanted to know if she could lift a person
by their blood, because blood permeates everything, your whole beings, and if she can manipulate it, can she just
lift people up and just throw them around the place?
Or just by manipulating the blood, because we've seen her lift blood. She can do that, so why not just lift it while it's still in the person?
I mean, yeah. I just want more Sloane in season 2. I definitely want more Sloane in season 2.
We're definitely thinking Sloane is performing arts, right? She wasn't in the criminal solving unit.
I really want her to be in the criminal, because if she's got a domino mask and a cape, I am in.
Adventures of Sloane. The next spin-off.
He's spitting and hoofing people all over the place.
I don't know whose idea it was to include Sloane, but just hats off to you, whoever it was, because it was just this perfect addition that just, it's not explained, but everybody else just goes with it. It's yep, there's Sloane, and especially when she's introduced, because it's at the house party, and it's just a llama walking through, and you're like, is that... When they say, hey, Sloane, are they... And then, no, later on in the episode, you find out that it's actually Maverick's significant other. And just, It
just reminds me of the creepy murals in the woods. Speaking of set design, actually, the rooms in the woods were very interesting. Very eerie. I enjoyed the kind of horror movie lighting they had going on in them, which just evokes all these feelings of it being cold and sterile, and you could almost smell the fact that it was it smelled like bleach and antiseptic. And everything echoes.
And all the guards as well were always covered up. It was all very Resident Evil Umbrella Corporation-y.
Yeah. Compared to the warmth and the softness that you get from the dorm rooms, even though they were very industrial with all the furnishings in them, people had made them homey.
Beanbag?
Yeah, I have a beanbag.
It's an interesting point about the dorm rooms as well, because I love that it was a way to really convey the characters' personalities, but also, like you said, very industrial and prison-like, especially when the uni went into lockdown and you realise that they really are subjects, they're not studying. I think that was a great way of, it's been there all along, you just haven't really acknowledged it.
Yeah, because you get the one throwaway from Emma at the start of, the dorm windows don't open because people were flying off during the night, and that's clearly the story they've been telling them.
And yeah, that reveal of the university, of the university being there to study them. I hope we do get more of that in season 2.
If it
a little
comes,
bit more of the backstory.
With a 1960s transatlantic voiceover of Godolphin University.
The pate voice.
Yeah,
you love the pate voice.
Love the pate voice. but something like, an old timey footage reel of it, like just giving the history.
I don't think I have any specific hopes for season 2 of Gen
No.
V. I just want it not to take as long as these shows traditionally take to come out, to put it nicely.
At least we know that the writers can get back in the room now, so that's
Yes, thankfully, both the writers and the actors can get back to work. And hopefully no more strikes and the studios won't pull any more stupid bullshit. But any final thoughts on the seasons, girls? Anna?
God, you really put me on the spot there, mate.
It can just be I loved it from start to finish. That's okay too.
I think it was a brilliant complement to the main series, yet entirely its own being as well. So I look forward to both shows now, not one or the other over the other. I think they move forward as a parallel.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think as much as they did tie things together, you could just sit down and watch Gen V having not watched The Boys and still be able to enjoy it.
And a lot of people did. Yeah, a lot of people I've seen online watched Gen V, and that's been their gateway to the world of The Boys. And I wish you good luck watching the main show, because fuck me, there's a lot of. If you thought Gen V was bad, buckle up.
Yeah, that is a fair point. I can't. Yeah, that's one of those things where I'd be like, it's like people who watch Stargate Atlantis before watching SG1. I'm like, how does that work?
But yeah, and it's the same. There was so many people who watched The Boys because of Jensen Ackles being in it.
True, yeah,
People
started
who
with
came
season
back to
3.
watch Gen V because of the Soldier Boy.
Yeah, season 3 had such a boost.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Soldier Boy, it's gonna be amazing." And yeah, like yes, he was. I felt that all the hype around it dampened some of the season for me because I was waiting on him.
Oh, we covered that
And
last year.
it's the same again. Then when this came out, they was like, "Oh, there's gonna be a Soldier Boy cameo," and it actually for me, I went, "No, can we not?" And then you found out it was actually supposed to be Taylor
Oh,
Lautner.
apparently, yeah, the Soldier Boy cameo, they had wanted Taylor Lautner and they were going to have it that Kate was a massive Twilight fan.
And she was teaming
That
with
would have been
Jacob
fucking
on it.
hilarious. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was great to get Jensen Ackles back as Soldier Boy, but if they had gotten that would have been fucking hilarious too.
That is true Gen V and Gen Z representation if she was a twihard.
That came out, what, 15 years ago, I think, this last week?
I don't know.
It was like a cinematic release.
Oh my god, is it the anniversary?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And what about you, Elsie, then? Any final thoughts on the series?
No, I just want to know who has them in that room. I really want to know, like, whose lap those 4 have fallen into.
Are they in the tower or are they in Elmira? Because I don't think the CIA have them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Elmira would allow them to be all in the same room, but I can understand why they would be, because if you're trying to wait to find out if they're going to test negative or positive after being exposed to a virus,
Ooh.
then you would keep them together.
Yeah, because we don't know if that virus is airborne or not yet.
Well, or they might have exposed them to
because
it.
I mean, it was droplets.
I was thinking though that whoever has them surely won't be able to keep them for long, because if Vought are saying these 4 are the ones who did this horrible massacre on campus, and we've already seen Homelander has been put on trial for murdering the Starlighter protester, the Justice Department is going to want to get their hands on the supposed perpetrators.
But
so whoever has them won't be able to keep them for long unless...
won't want Marie talking to anybody, because Marie can reveal that Newman's a supe.
That's the other thing, yeah. I have lots of questions, but I have faith they will answer them all in time.
I also would like to know more about the Elmira facility. Please and thank you.
Yeah, I wonder will we get more of that, because we got Sage Grove teased early on and then it came back in a big way.
And we got to see Love Sausage again. And I really want to put googly eyes on the top of it. It looks like it should have eyeballs.
No, I do. It was a fantastic addition to the world of The Boys, and as was said, I think it will run nicely parallel, where you'll be able to probably watch one show without watching the other. But I think everybody here is going to be watching both and anything that they release in the future.
You betcha.
But I think that probably about wraps it up for our Gen V, our first Gen V season wrap chat. Hopefully there will be many, many more, and you are both welcome back anytime. Thank you for joining us today. But would you like to tell people where they can find you on social medias, if you would like to? You might not like to have anybody follow you. But Anna, where can the people find you?
You can find me screaming into the void about both of these TV shows on Twitter at ButchersCanary.
And Elsie, what about you? And I know you also do a little bit of charity work here and there. So if you have anything that you'd like to promote while telling people where they can find you, work away.
Hi, you can find me on Twitter at TheGreenCooler. And if you look at my pinned tweet currently, we are doing a toy drive that benefits getting toys to hospitalized children. And you can find out more on the thread on my pinned tweet. Runs through the December 15th.
I will put the link in the show notes. And now I am under pressure to get this released as quickly as possible so that people can donate. But guys, thank you both for coming on. As ever, you've been fantastic guests. And if people want to find us, they can find us on Twitter at rantsmono, on Instagram at monorants_the_boys, and they can send their own rants to monorantspodcast@gmail.com. And of course, if they want, you can head back and listen to our previous episodes or our other podcast, Monorants at the Movies. Once again, thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you all soon. Bye bye.
Slán, slán.